Sifu Raphael is the founder and host of Coaching Call, Heroes Rising, The Seer Show, and New Tip Daily. He works with individuals, groups, and businesses and helps them find clarity, purpose, and understanding of who they really are in business and personal life. Sifu Raphael has used his skills to develop a variety of multifaceted businesses in the martial arts and fitness industries. He owns and operates a 10,000 square foot martial arts and fitness facility in New York. Jose Escobar is an award-winning, nationally recognized personal development speaker, published author, and sales professional. He leads compelling, high-level communities consisting of entrepreneurs and advanced leaders through his two business models, the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf and the Connected Leaders Academy. He is also the co-host of Heroes Rising.
Jose, happy Friday, my friend. How are you today?
Happy Friday, Sifu Raphael. I am amazing. I am fantastic. I am phenomenal. What else can I use? How are you? How are you?
Well, you're so many things, but they're all positive. Thank God for that. How am I? I'm exceptional, and I'm getting better every day. You know, every day I need to do something to improve myself. Here's the cool thing. We have an amazing guest we're going to bring him on, and we're going to just have an amazing conversation. So let's bring Carl on. Carl, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. How are you doing?
Sifu, I'm doing well. And Jose, it's great to meet you. This is our first time breaking bread together, so to speak. So it's great to meet you. And Sifu, this is becoming a habit.
Habits, as long as they're positive, it's good. So it's always a pleasure to have you on any of my shows. So thank
100%.
you. 100%. So why don't we get into it? So, Carl, what can I say about you? I don't know. You're a peelable onion. What can I say? Carl Richards, that's your last name, by the way. It's kind of cool. You have two names, right? So you have spent more than 25 years behind the microphone on radio and on stage, entertaining and influencing audiences worldwide. You're a 3-time best-selling author, a TEDx speaker, and an emcee, podcast host, and the founder and CEO of Carl Speaks and Podcast Solutions, Made Simple. Carl, you help coaches, consultants, and other subject matter experts become the go-to authority by launching world-class podcasts. My friend, you are a powerhouse. I'm happy to know you.
Thank you. It's and again, it's an honor to be here. Do I do all those things? Really? It's funny. Every time I hear my introduction, I go, "Oh yeah, I do that. Right, I did that." It's funny how we forget some of the things that we've done, and certainly in those moments where we're feeling blue, it happens, right? We're all entrepreneurs or people that work with other people. Every now and again, you need a boost. Read your bio. Look at all the cool stuff.
Do you sometimes feel like a Smurf? You said you feel blue. I'm just kidding.
I like that though. I like that. I got enough blue here to cover if that ever happened though. So
there you go. There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put you on the spot and have you. I know you have a great story to tell us, and you started telling me, and I was like, man, that's got so many layers to it that we can get into. So I'd love to highlight you and then have you come and tell us the story. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. I was trying to think about what I wanted to share today, because when I saw your email, I was like, what's your topic? I'm like, I don't know what my topic's going to be. And then I got to thinking about when I was on radio, every now and again, things would happen just organically. And something that happened organically to me today was something that I felt that I should share. I was at the grocery store picking up a few items, and I recognized that I had forgotten the last few times being there to pick up dishwasher tabs. It's a minor thing. It's like, okay, I'm remembering, I take them, I put them in the cart, go through the cash, bring everything home. I'm putting them away, and I'm putting the dishwasher tabs that came in a cardboard box. I'm putting them in another container that we use to store them in, so the cardboard box can go into our recycling bin. And I'm noticing as I'm putting these in this plastic container, I'm noticing there's a coupon on the back, and I'm thinking, great. it's a tough economy right now. I'm thinking, I don't mind saving a couple of bucks on my next purchase of dishwasher tabs. I'm like, cool. I'll cut that off the box and I'll take it with me next time I go to the store. And then as I'm reading the coupon in a little bit more detail, in the fine print, a lot of these coupons still have an expiry date. And I'm looking at the expiry date. And the expiry date was December 2021. December 31st, 2021. And I'm thinking, did I miss it? What, have I been asleep for 2 years and just didn't realize it? Or is there a bigger message here? And that is, wow, how many of us potentially are asleep at the wheel when it comes to our messaging, our marketing, how we're showing up, all of those things. I got to thinking, oh, maybe this is a bigger issue. Yes, of course, I'm sure I could have taken that coupon to the store and I could have made a case for it. And it's not about the coupon. It's about the bigger message of how far behind are we sometimes in what we're doing, thinking we're right on track and right where we need to be. So that was kind of the story that I wanted to share. And I really wanted to open that up a little bit more, because in my space, there are people who still come to the podcasting space and they say, yeah, it still sounds like it's brand new and I don't really know what I'm doing. But they'll try, or they'll say, you know what, that blog is still working for me. The one I've been doing since 2012, it's still working. It's fine. It's great. It's wonderful. Is it really? Or is there something else that you should be considering or that you should be looking at? Are you showing up in front of your clients, your audiences, all of those places? Are you showing up today, or are you showing up as a version that you were maybe 2 years ago, 5 years ago, even 10 years ago? So that was the message.
Great message. And one of the things that I muted myself. One of the things that I kind of shared with you is that it's a good thing you were not buying food. Right. Because if that expiration date was December 31st, 2021, man, that would be a little bit.
It'd be okay if it were just straight compost. It would be perfect. It'd be fertilizer by that point, but you're right. I mean, so definitely, yeah, it's a good thing it wasn't food for sure.
So when you talk about how people are now using what used to work, and it's been working, so why change it? You know what they say is, if it ain't broke, right?
Yeah.
Finish
100%.
that for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share that. There are companies out there that for years advertised on radio, television, newspapers. It's not working anymore, right? Like there's been an evolution and that continues to happen. So there are some areas where it still works. That big football game down in the United States where you guys are. Yeah, it works great if you have a large budget, because you're going to have a captive audience tuning into that particular event, right? But it doesn't always happen for, I would say, the average entrepreneur. The average entrepreneur is looking at probably a swath of things and saying they're seeing this entrepreneur do this. They're seeing maybe this coach do this coach do this. They're looking at some high-level gurus and saying, oh, they're on physical stages. I have to do all of this, not even knowing what's going to work for them. That's number one. And number two is we base our beliefs based on either what we've done or what we're seeing other people do today, or what we've seen other people do within the last, say, year or two. So if you look back 2 years ago, a lot of people were doing Facebook Lives, ton of people doing Facebook Lives. And I'm not saying people don't do Facebook Lives anymore, but that platform has evolved. Algorithms have evolved the platform. There's other platforms that have come into play. We've seen in the last year, Twitter is now X. So it's a completely different platform than it was 5 years ago. So if we're looking at that and saying, you know what, I want to put myself out there, I'm just going to do this, or you know what, in my earlier days in business or in my last job, we did this all the time, I'm just going to do that. Just because it's something you did doesn't mean it's going to work today. As I said, I worked in radio for 25 years and we had some great clients, but there are a lot of clients in my last 2 or 3 years in working in broadcasting who were looking at other methods or ways to get the word out about what it is that they do. So they weren't just using broadcasting. They weren't just using print. They were using push notifications. They were using Facebook ads. They were using podcast ad space or whatever it was. They were doing other things. And when you do other things, and especially if that's where your audience is gravitated to, you're going to connect with more people. And that's, I think, what most business owners, I think, want to do. They want to connect more with their ideal audience. And if you're doing something that is archaic or becoming archaic, you're going to be left behind. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, totally. Nobody wants to be left behind.
Yeah.
You mentioned Twitter, and it's no longer named Twitter. And Musk could have put any letter in it. Why didn't he choose the letter Y?
Or Q.
Right. But he put X because he wants us to expand, to grow, to be more open. So, and when we think about what you said, everything you said, I love, because we need to change with the times. That's the message I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, that is the message. We have to evolve beyond what our thinking is. Really. And sometimes it's maybe not sometimes, maybe all the time, it's our thinking that really keeps us stuck. And I heard somebody talking about this yesterday in a networking setting I was in. And this is a networking group I've never been to. And it's a meetup that meets every, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. I was invited. They said, come on in and check us out. So I did. And of course, we're hearing a lot of bad news right now about, we've got 2 wars going on at least. We've got we have a global economy that's in a crazy place, and prices are going up, gas is through the roof, all of these things. How are we going to heat our houses in the winter? And we're really in this. Some people are in this victim space. We're trapped in this space of, well, the good old days are gone. What's going to happen? How am I going to survive? How is this going to happen? But we're not realizing, or we're forgetting that we could change if we just focus this thing a little differently. I think that the best analogy I can think of is, I did some brain retraining with John Assaraf, 10 years ago. And one of the things that he said in one of his sessions, and it was a pre-recorded session, I was in one of his groups, that it was a go at your own pace program. And I remember him saying on one of those sessions, he said, it's about rewiring and retraining your thoughts. And he said, for example, the average person is walking around saying, I'm broke, I don't have any money. And what you get more of, right? Thinking law of attraction, you get more broke, you get more no money, you get more of what you don't need. But he said, what if you focused it differently and said, I am living in abundance, or I have all the money I need, or I have all the abundance I need. I'm just a little short on cash right now. See, it's the same thing, but it's reframed differently. So if we look at it and say, wow, food prices are, and again, I'll just pick food prices as an example. Food prices are pretty high right now. I guess that 40% I was throwing out, I guess I'm going to have to shop a little bit more smartly so I'm not throwing out as much. So there's all kinds of ways to look at it. Are we looking at it in a way that's serving us, or are we looking at it in a way that's, harming us? And so much of us look at it in a way that's harming us, or that harms us even more. People who stay in dead-end jobs forever, and because they're in that, they're in that victim mentality, or they only know this way. I remember when I was working in radio, one of our producers, we're probably about the same age, maybe he's a year or two younger. And I remember him saying there were some changes being made in the production department. He didn't lose his job or anything, but I remember at that time when people were walking through with clipboards going, okay, well, this is happening. And okay, we've got a writer here and 2 producers, and this person does this. And as these people are walking through with clipboards, I snuck into his studio and I said, Mike, people are walking through with clipboards. And he said, yeah. I don't know. He says, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And I said, well, what if you end up being the next person to be shown the door? And he said, this is all I know. I don't know what I'd do. And I'm like, how can you not know, or not even have a preconceived notion that, okay, this is the end and it's time to do something else that drives you, that invigorates you? But when he said that, this is the only thing I know, I wouldn't know what to do. Really? I figured out a long time ago that there's life after 25 years of broadcasting. I loved it, but there's life after it, and life is still great. Did I like it then? Yes. Am I loving life now? Absolutely. And if this ended tomorrow, I know there's something else, but we stay stuck sometimes.
Really quick, regarding that, I find that fascinating. I've heard many times before. I don't know what book I was reading. It was one of these behind me, but I was reading a particular book, and it said that so many people get stuck in this idea of like, this is the way it's always been done.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to keep doing it that way because that's what they know, that's what they've been told, that's the way they were trained, that's the culture. And at the end of the day, innovation is key, right?
Yeah.
As the conversation today is rising above the crowd, you got to rise above the crowd, and sometimes that requires a new way, a new path, right? The road less traveled by, as they say from that phenomenal poem. So it's just one of those things. So let me ask you a question, Carl, if you don't mind. Based on what you were saying, if somebody knows, okay, I got to do something differently, I got to get some traction, I got to get outside of these norms, what is step one? What would be your like number one thing that somebody would need to do to just step out of their own way and maybe step out of the or the monotony of what they do and kind of like find a new way to get things done? What is that step one that you would say for those people?
Yeah. Get a podcast. Oh, sorry. Is that not the answer? Podcastsolutions.simple.com. There we go. But no, seriously, I think the first thing you need to do to get out of your way is I think you need to sit quietly for 5 minutes and just soul search. You have to just sit there by yourself, no distractions, sit in a room by yourself, and don't overthink. Just sit there and enjoy the moment that you're in. I think that's number one. I think we don't do that enough. I think even business owners who are experienced, seasoned, and maybe they're going through some challenges right now, they need to sit and be quiet and be in that space. Maybe it's not sit, maybe it's go for a walk in nature and just really allow yourself to be open to whatever thoughts, positive or negative, are going to come in. The negative ones, there's ways, I'm not an expert at this, but there are ways to, get rid of those ones. And the positive ones, you want to take those in and you want to be inquisitive and say, I wonder what would happen if, or I wonder what would happen when, and what about this? And just allow that to happen. And I think if we did that more often, if we gave ourselves that time to be present with ourselves and our internal being, things would shift immensely for us. And I noticed when I've done that, and my doctor actually has forced me to do it because she's put me on blood pressure medication. She said, oh, your blood pressure is a bit high. You need to sit quietly for 10 minutes every morning before you have your coffee and take your blood pressure. So I'm like, okay. So I do that. No phone, nothing. I just sit there quietly. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is an amazing time. And then I take my blood pressure. Then I get my coffee, which waiting that 10 minutes to get coffee in the morning has been a bit of a struggle. But it's amazing how my mind has opened up. And now when I go into the office at 8:30 or 9 o'clock or whenever I get in there for a call or an appointment or a session, I feel like I'm ready. I'm prepped. But I think we need to do in every aspect. I think we need to sit and be present and really just allow ourselves to be in that place of thinking, but not overthinking.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I like that. Thank you.
Definitely. I think that one of the things that you talked about before is abundance, right? And we go to the grocery store and we see that the food prices went up. So you can either complain, or you can buy, because you still need to eat, right?
That's right.
And for me, it's not about complaining. It's about, oh, okay, if I live in a world of abundance, then I'm okay to pay that price.
Yep.
Because someone needed to get it to the store.
Yep.
The truckers they have to pay for their family. The farmers had to do it. The distribution center had to take care of it. So I am not just paying for that apple. I'm paying for all the people that touch that apple. Hopefully not too many, because I want a clean apple. But what I mean is, if I complain about it, then I'm taking my own power away, and I'm going to live in that scarcity mindset where, oh man, can I really afford that apple? Or I'm happy to pay for that apple. because then I know that I have to raise myself up to not worry about the price of that.
Yeah, it's true. And I think you hit the nail right on the head there, Seafood, because we have been programmed to be in this place of scarcity, or in this place of bitching and complaining, really, or and I worked in the media. I have no issues in saying, you know what, the media is to blame for some of it, because whenever gas prices go up, oh, gas prices are through the roof. You can't believe how much they are. How are people going to ever survive with gas prices being la 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 la? I remember in the 1990s, my father driving by gas stations because he wanted to he said, oh, there's got to be some place that has it, and we're a few cents, and we do per liter versus per gallon. But he would drive by and he's like, oh, you know what? Gas it's almost 50 cents a liter, almost 50 cents a liter. And he'd be looking for that station it was 49.9 here. I wonder if it's going to go down to 48. And I'm like, really? But that's the mentality.
Scarcity mentality.
Gas here in Canada, just to paint a picture. And I know, again, gallon versus liter, completely different. But gas went up to over $2 a liter. I guess it was about a year and a half ago, maybe. And I don't know what it was per gallon at the time in the United States. But I remember people going, oh, gas is expensive. And it was a pinch at the pumps when you would go and fill up. But I had a spouse, F-150, still would fill it up. It's like, it was a little bit more than I was expecting to pay. Well, guess what? Right now, gas is hovering between $1.30 and $1.38 rather than $1.45 a liter, depending on where you go. And people are still saying, oh, gas is so expensive. It's even though it's 70 to 80 cents cheaper than it was over a year ago. We're not saying, oh, thankfully I can go on an extra road trip this month or whatever. We're still complaining that we're in this place. And I think the more we do that, the more we get that negative energy back. And we're just, it's a circle. It's a cycle, right?
So to expand upon that, 100%, Carl and Raphael, you guys had some great points there. My rule of thumb has been, ever since I've kind of shifted from the, victim mentality to the victor mentality, right? From the solutionist, right? From looking at a problem, and instead of just saying, hey, we have a problem, I would approach it with, hey, I have a solution to this problem. What do you think about this? It's a whole different approach. I used to have a mentor. I used to work at Animal Hospital. If you're watching right now, shout out to Dr. Mel Davis from BC North Rockville. He was a great friend. He still is a great friend, and has always been a mentor to me. And I used to come and complain to him about certain things about, the job. And I would say, hey, how come this and this? Or, the last time I got a raise was this. When am I going to get another? So I would come with problems. And he would stop me. And one day he said to me, Jose, I need to sit down with you. I need to talk to you. He said, listen, you come to me with a lot of problems. It's time for you to start coming to me with some solutions. So whenever you have a problem, don't just bring it to my attention. I want you to come and I want you to present to me a couple of potential solutions. So now I have something to think about versus you just bringing me a problem. And what am I going to do with your problem? I have my own problems. I have a lot of things on my plate. I need you to present solutions. So that really shaked my tree a little bit. And I've adapted that into my life. And all of that to say that as I started growing in life, right, as a professional, and now as a business owner, entrepreneur, I have developed this abundance mindset, right? And the abundance mindset says that the economy is what you make of it within your brain, right? Between your ears, right? I create my own economy. Forget what gas prices are. Forget what the grocery prices are. Forget, like, for the longest time, like, my wife was like, oh, hey, go to this gas station that's like 2 miles down the street. Don't go to that one. And I'm like, listen, the energy and the time that it takes me to go further down to this other gas station to save, 5 cents per gallon, I'm going to pull into this gas station. Because at the end of the day, inconvenience, time wasted, further driving, I'm going out of my way. It's such a hassle. And sometimes time can be money, right? As we all know, right? So what is the best use of your time? That's really what it comes down to. Any final thought, 1 minute thought before we introduce our next speaker?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the biggest message is, firstly, if you are going to the grocery store and you're saying, oh, food prices are so expensive, understand you're probably throwing out about 40% of it anyhow. So maybe you need to reframe how you're creating your grocery list. Maybe that's a big thing. You need to go with a list, because I know a lot of people who don't, and that's where they end up getting more than they need, which ends up going into the trash. But as far as some of the other things we talked about today, I think it's this is a good time to check and take a look and see what's working, what's serving you, and if it's not serving you anymore, especially in my space, in the marketing space and promotion space, if what you've done up to this point, if it's not serving you, or it's time to maybe look at doing something different, now is a good time to do it, because there are so many great things out there. And like you said, Jose, there's so much abundance. We just have to allow ourselves to be open to receiving it, and then also giving back.
Fantastic. That's great, Carl. Thank you so much for your amazing wisdom. I enjoyed it. I was taking some notes here, and I love the step one is you need to just take some time in quiet and meditate and think, and the woosah, right? That's great. So moving on our agenda here, we have our next amazing speaker, and many of you know him. And for those of you who might be new to the Heroes Rising show, get ready. I hope you're sitting down and you have your notepads and your pens. Sifu Raphael is a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. This is a massive facility. He's served so many families and students in the martial arts industry, helping them become better people, better athletes, live healthier lives. He's also the founder of 4 unique podcast shows, which are all done live. Makes a huge difference when they're live, right? The Coaching Call, and that covers various types of coaching styles, from trainers in sports, martial arts, fitness, business, mindset, relationship, leadership. I mean, all of those topics are covered in a Coaching Call. Phenomenal show. Also, Heroes Rising, and this is every other week or so, 2 times per month here, and we have 2 amazing coaches. Usually, we have 1 today, but we usually have 2 other guests that are featured. And this is, again, you're on it today, so that's an amazing show, and honored to be a co-host with Sifu Raphael. The Seer Show also brings the world together from New York to Queensland, Australia, every Tuesday at 4:30 a.m. And then his latest show, New Tip Daily, is Monday through Friday, and this is where he delivers tips on business, family, mindset, fitness, and health. And then, of course, he has an amazing podcast with Juanita Cap as well, which he can tell you how often that airs. But this guy is always moving and shaking. He is always adding value to people. And I just absolutely love listening to Sifu Raphael. So, Sifu, the floor is yours, and let's hear it. Can't wait.
Thank you, my friend. Every time you introduce me, I feel like I got to take my checkbook out, put up my app for Zelle and send you something. So thank you for that great introduction, my friend. First, I want to thank every one of you for joining us today. I do want to share a story with you, if I may. I was reflecting back to a time when I found myself facing an unexpected challenge. And we talked about challenges, and we always go through some, but a challenge that would shape my perspective on resilience, determination, and the power of self-encouragement. As a young boy, I found myself lost and alone in the midst of a snowstorm. Actually, it was a blizzard in New York, in Queens, New York. You see, I was in the 2nd grade, and they let us out early. Since I walked to and from school, uphill both ways, I'm just kidding, I started walking without even thinking. Probably the dumbest thing I did back then. Shortly, to find myself in a bad spot. The cold wind and the snow hitting my face, the swirling snow was everywhere. And the deafening silence created an environment that seemed to swallow me whole. I knew right there and then that I had no choice but to keep going. I didn't know how to quit. And that's something for another story, another day, because I've had so many amazing stories in my life. But everyone teaches me something. And little did I realize this experience would serve as a profound lesson in the strength we all possess within ourselves. I was lost. I know I was young and I was dumb, but I was lost for a little over 3 hours. Think about that. Imagine your child lost for that many hours in a snowstorm, actually a blizzard. And I could not even see more than a foot in front of me. Not that much. I mean, there was snow everywhere. In that blizzard, this wasn't just a physical challenge. It was a metaphor for any uncertainty we might face in life. It was about being lost, feeling overwhelmed, and not knowing the way home or even back to school. Literally, I could not see anywhere, no matter which way I turned. And I think that's why maybe I did too many turns and that's why I got lost. You see, that's when my self-talk and the belief in myself is all I had. I share this not to dwell on the difficulties I went through that day, but to shed a light on the universal truth that we all encounter. We all encounter storms in our lives. In those moments of uncertainty, I discovered an inherent capability within myself. I realized that the phrase, this one I think you should write down, "You can do this. You can do this. You can do this," wasn't just a string of words. It was a powerful mantra that echoed in the chambers of my mind. I kept saying it over and over. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. It became the guiding force that fueled my determination to take one step after another. Even when the path ahead was obscured, I literally could not see anything. Now, there was absolutely no traffic. I didn't see a person. The snow was building and building. Now I understand that facing the unknown can be daunting. Doubts and fears are natural companions. They really are. They're with you wherever you go. In such moments, like the one I'm explaining to you and telling you about, I was beyond scared. But just as the blizzard couldn't extinguish my inner flame, remember, your own doubts need not snuff out your potential. Let's dissect the fear, break down the challenges, and recognize that progress, no matter how small, is significant. Positive self-talk became my ally. The simple affirmation, "You can do this," also meant, don't stop. You can do this. It became a source of strength. It wasn't just about surviving, it was about thriving. I encourage each of you to adopt this empowering mindset. Visualize your success, literally, daily. I love the 10 minutes that you talked about before your coffee. Carl, that is powerful. So paint the picture of your triumph and believe that every challenge is an opportunity to showcase your strength. During that journey, mental strategies played a pivotal role in my survival. Without that, I don't know if I would have made it. Recognizing the smaller milestones, focusing on the present, and leveraging my inner strength were tools in my arsenal. Today, I share these moments with you, not as a roadmap, but as companions for your own journey. Let me take you into my snow boots during that storm, if you will. There were moments of doubt, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, scary. One that kept creeping into my mind was, will I freeze to death? moments when the gusty winds seem to drown out the encouraging whispers in my mind. Will somebody find me? It was super scary. But it was precisely in those moments that the mantra, "You can do this," became a roar. A roar. You can do this. Keep going. Doesn't matter. You will find home or somebody that will help you. So drowning out the doubts and propelling me forward, that's what I needed to do. I share this I repeat, not just as my story, but a testament to the resilience we all harbor within ourselves. So, my friends, as you face your challenges, I want you to remember those 4 powerful words. You can do this. And say it and mean it. Say it to yourself with conviction. Let it fill your mind and resonate with the beating of your heart. Because believe me, you possess an incredible strength, and no storm, no challenge can extinguish that flame that burns deep inside of you. As we navigate our individual journeys, let's approach each challenge with the unwavering belief that we can overcome. Let's embrace the storms as opportunities for growth and resilience. Together, we can redefine the narrative of our own challenges and emerge not just as survivors, but as victors. I encourage you to reflect on your own challenges, to face them with the belief that you can indeed overcome. Today, my gift to you are four powerful words you already know. I can do this, no matter what is in your way. I can do this. Now, I'm happy to answer any questions or thoughts you may have. And no, I did not lose any toes, and I was frozen and I was terrified. But those are the words that kept me going. 4 words.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
That is quite the story and quite the journey. It actually resonates because my dad, when he was younger and came to this country and he was very young, he was taking the bus for a long time. And I remember he, one time almost froze to death in winter. And I think the bus never came, and he was just sitting there and he had nowhere to go and had nobody to call and nothing. And it was like really scary. So in a moment like that, right? How does that affect you today? Right? How does that affect you today, living some intense experience like that? Where do you find yourself applying this mantra? Is this a mantra that you live by now? Is it something that continues to resonate and echo in your life, or do you have new ways of handling certain things?
Great question. And when you consider that you learn from every experience, that adversity is only a tool, right? Things are going to happen. You sometimes have no control. Back in the day, I never took a bus, and my home was never close. I didn't start taking a bus to school until 6th grade. No, I'm sorry, 8th grade. So I always walked. And sometimes my school is a mile, 2 miles away, depends where I live. And just knowing that eventually I will arrive, that is the biggest win I had that day. Scared, terrified, and I knew no car was going to hit me because no cars could drive. And, 1 foot into the deep snow, 1 foot into the deep snow. And I look back and I'm like, I don't even know where I am. Somehow I miraculously made it home. But here's the thing, that resonates with me today, because even if I don't know where I am, the real thing is I know where I'm going. Sometimes you may get lost. And remember that you may get lost. But as long as you know your destination, you need to take the steps necessary. And some steps are going to be missteps. They are. I've made 1,000 mistakes. That's why if somebody wants to learn from me, guess what? I've been where you've been. I've made the mistakes. I can help you with that. And just like you want a coach who's been in the trenches, can you imagine learning from a coach who, and you want to learn how to shoot, meanwhile, they've never shot a gun, they don't even know how to load it? Hello, you want to learn from somebody who knows what you've been through. So when you talk to me about your dad waiting for the bus, let me tell you, yes, I get that. And can I tell you, as a kid, that's one of my 1,000 stories that I can share. And sometimes the question that we can all start to ask, why me? Why is this happening to me? And that's where we get into the blaming game. Why me? Why is this always happening to me? Instead of saying, wow, what can I learn from this? And yes, it's happening, but how can I make it better? How can I evolve from this situation? So I'm sorry, long-winded, but yes, that's how I deal with things nowadays.
Powerful.
Yeah, very, very, very powerful, Sifu. I was making good notes as you were saying that, and I wrote down "you can do this," and then I scratched out the "you" and put "I." And when you talk about fear and doubt, the first thing that popped into my mind was the acronym for fear, and there's two of them. And I'll let you talk about how to navigate between them, because when you're stuck in the trenches, it's hard sometimes to get out. But fear can either stand for face everything and run, or face everything and rise. So how do you navigate out of that when you're in that dark space?
It's a challenge. I mean, I told you I have a lot of stories. I've had a gun and a knife put on me personally by 3 people that wanted to kill me. And that's a story for another day. But that moment, you have to make a decision. Do you want to live? And a lot of my stories are, did I want to live? And the answer is always yes. And it breaks my heart when I hear of young people taking their own lives because they didn't have the resilience to go through that pain that they're going through. So this is a message for anybody. If you hear of someone who is going through a tough time, help them out. And sometimes when somebody cuts you off, don't give them the finger. Just wave and say, man, have a happy day. I hope you get to where you're going safe, because it's the way we treat every situation. We can be in fear or we can be in joy. I choose joy daily. So it brings me to my next exceptional human being. And, when I asked Jose if he can be on this show as my co-host, he did the most important thing. And I think that's what most people don't do. They say yes because it's a great opportunity. It's a great venture. But they don't check to see if they're capable, if their bandwidth allows it. So he did his due diligence and he came back and goes, yes, but he didn't answer me right away. And I respect him even more for that. So Jose Escobar, a good friend of mine, is an award-winning, nationally recognized personal development speaker, 8-time published author. He has over 25 years sales professional experience. He is a husband and a father to five beautiful children. He leads compelling high-level communities consisting of entrepreneurs and advanced leaders through 2 multi-6-figure businesses. Here's the thing: Entrepreneurs Bookshelf and the Connected Leaders Academy, which I'm a part of. And thank you, Jose, for allowing me to be part of it. Jose is exceptional in his presentations where he has reached audiences collectively, listen to this, over 30 million. And he radiates throughout his dynamic coaching programs, inspiring his international 300 plus entrepreneurial and executive clientele to master their personal and professional excellence. Before I bring Jose on, I also want to share something here with you guys, if you don't mind. Just take a look at this.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Well, Jose, I got to tell you, one of the things that is very inspiring, also, you have a great voice. We were talking about that earlier. So you have this rich, deep, but it's not just the voice that you harbor to yourself. Your voice, the words you use, the knowledge that you produce with that is incredible. And I'm about to hand over the virtual stage, but let me tell you, Jose is also a powerful speaker on public stages. So if you ever get a chance, go check him out. Jose's virtual stage is yours, my friend.
Well, I'm definitely gonna have to top that intro next week or next time we're on. I appreciate that. Thank you so much again for the opportunity to co-host with you. We've been going for almost a year together here. I'm just honored to be here and meet all kinds of amazing people like Carl and many others that have come before, and just learning, always learning, right? I'm a white belt when it comes to the growth phase, when it comes to scaling and growing, because we never arrive, right? It's a lifelong journey, and there's always new strategies, new techniques, new best practices, new everything that we need to be learning, and that's awesome. So today I want to talk about, I want to speak to the rising above the crowd, right? I want to speak to that, and I'm going to be nice and tight. I don't have too much time, so I'm going to get right in because I got to jump on another show after this. So I hope you guys are ready to get fed 2 steaks at one time very quickly. Okay, so first of all, it's important that you live full and die empty. I'll say that again. Live full and die empty. You have to be fully alive every single day. It's been said many times, you only live once. No, you only die once, but you live daily. And every single day matters. And every single day is important to maximize the opportunity, because guess what? It compounds over time, both negative and positive, right? So in order for you to get momentum in your life, in order for you to achieve the next phase so that you can start rising above the crowd, what do you need to do? Well, get out of the planning phase, get out of the learning phase, and start taking massive action. I can't tell you, I was the guy, I say it all the time, I was a professional seat warmer at events for a long time, years, right? I was the guy who was always investing in all kinds of things, learning from every single source you can think of, programs, courses, coaches, mentors, live events, virtual events, podcasts, YouTube, I mean, you name it, I was doing it all, and I still do it all. But the difference is that at one point I got out of planning, right? I got out of the preparation phase and just being in learn mode, and I started getting to apply and take action mode. And that's when things started to shift and started to change. So that would be the next thing to consider. And another thing to consider is, well, how do I get better at XYZ? Well, you have to do more of it, right? If you want to acquire more patience, the virtue of patience, what do? Put yourself in impatient situations, right? Put yourself in situations that require patience, so you develop that patience muscle. And I can give you tons of examples there, but This all goes back to saying that in life and in business, if you are where you are in a certain place and you're not happy with it, guess what? You are there because you choose to be there. It's just that simple. I can tell you story after story after story. Just do the research. People like Master P, right? Famous rapper, grew up in the ghetto where people die every day. And he chose to get out of that, and now he's a billionaire. There's other people like him. Jay-Z, look at that guy. Owns basketball teams, owns all kinds of crazy things. So don't tell me it's your raising. Don't tell me it's the way you were brought up. Don't tell me it's your environment. Don't tell me it's your circumstances. You can point at all those things, but all those things are going to point back to you and say it's really up to you. So if you want to rise above the crowd, you have to rise above the crowd, because it is, at the end of the day, it's an inside job. It's going to require you to step up to the plate and say, you know what, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And that's what it comes down to. If it is meant to be, it is up to me. It's not up to anybody else. So stop pointing the fingers, because every time you point a finger, there's 3 pointing back at you, right? If you paid attention to that. Right? So just know that that's what life is about. So if you want to rise above the crowd, just know that pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. You're going to go through life and hurdles and setbacks and challenges. This is part of the deal. And it's going to be very painful. Emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, mentally, physically at times. You're going to have to lose some sleep, blood, sweat, and tears, be in the trenches, in the battlefield of life and business. It's going to require some pain. But if you're suffering, that's a choice. You don't have to suffer very long. But you do have to go through the pain. There is a price to pay. And you're going to pay that price. Everybody's going to pay the price. You decide when you pay it and how you pay it, but you're going to pay it. So there's 3 books I'll recommend before I go into my final piece. Number 1 is The Laws of Success by Les Brown. Phenomenal book. And there's one thing I want to read directly out of this book right here. And it says this, and many of you have heard this before, and it's been different renditions of the same thing, but it's here. I'm going to read it. It's one paragraph. It says, the wealthiest place on the planet, we all know where I'm going with this. The wealthiest place on the planet is not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. The wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery. There you see potential never realized. There you find books never written. There you find ideas never acted upon. Powerful stuff. Great concept. Another great book is Character Carved in Stone by Pat Williams. The importance of developing your character, because the character at the end of the day is going to make or break you in life and business. Really, really strong book. Another one is Managing Oneself, because at the end of the day, it's not about time management, it's about self-management. You gotta manage yourself, and you gotta manage yourself well. Peter Drucker, amazing book right here. So I have a method, and I'm going to end with the following 2 minutes here on this, because I gotta run, unfortunately. But I'm gonna throw this out there. There is a method to my madness. I was told this by a mentor. His name is Chris Charest. So if you're watching, Chris Charest, shout out to you. Kudos to you. I mentioned 2 mentors today. That's another one. And if you take anything else away, you need a mentor in your life. You need coaches in your life. And I never have a coach who doesn't have a coach, right? And I have 5 coaches in different areas of my life. So you should definitely have a coach or a mentor. If you don't have one, if you take anything away from what I said today, get one like yesterday, right? So in terms of this mentor of mine, he gave me something called a 4-pane window. And I just talked about this in my mastermind last night that I was conducting. I was doing a nuts and bolts training session right there. And I'm just going to show you, if you see my board right there, there's a 4-pane right there, 4 panes. I literally just talked about that last night as I was doing a training. So I'm going to share that with you guys very quickly. And this is like the fast condensed version, but if anybody wants to discuss it further, we can always connect offline. But essentially, the 4-pane window is very simple. He said to me, Jose, if you want to rise above the crowd, right? I'm throwing that in there because that's what we're talking about today. If you want to rise above the crowd, if you want to achieve your highest self, if you want to live fully alive, If you want to live full and die empty, if you want to not leave certain things undone in the cemetery like most people do, then what should you be doing? You need to tap into your full potential. And how do you tap into your full potential? You have people that pour into you. And there's a really cool strategy that you can do. Next time you're talking to somebody, and if you're a coach and you're coaching somebody, there's an easy way to tap into their helping them voluntarily to where they're asking for it, right? To where you can give them some tough, bitter pills to swallow that they need to hear, right? Because anybody will say, yeah, please give me what I need to hear, but they don't really want it. So this is an easy way to do it. The first pain, imagine there's I want you to draw like a square on your paper, divide, put a little X or a little, like not an X, a line down the middle vertically and horizontally. So you have 4 panes, like a window, right? And in the top left pane, you should have 2 plus symbols. Top left, 2 plus symbols. On the top right, you should have a negative symbol and a positive symbol, side by side, negative, positive. On the bottom left, you should have a plus and a minus, so positive, negative. On the bottom right, you should have 2 negatives. So my mentor said to me, Jose, listen, there's something in this life called your full potential, and you're not realizing that right now. There's so much more that you could be doing that you're not tapping into, and I'm here to help you do that. So there's the first pane. The first pane, the 2 pluses on the top left are the things that I know about you that you know about you, right? The things that I know about you that you know about you. Like you're wearing this jacket. You don't have any hair on your head, right? You love martial arts. You are a sales guy at heart. So all of those things, we both know that about you, Jose. Now, the next pane on the top right is the negative positive. These are things that you know about you that I don't know about you. And I don't know what those things are, right? So, for example, I know that I was trained by one of the best in the life insurance business. And I was working in life insurance space for many years. But I know my trainer is one of the best in the life insurance business. I know that I firsthand got to meet Bill Britt, who's a guy, Britt Worldwide, but in Amway. I got to connect with him privately. Most people don't know that. So there's things that I know about me that other people don't know about me, that maybe Chris Rest doesn't know about me, right? And then the bottom left is things that I know about me that he doesn't know about me, right? I'm sorry, my apologies. So things that he knows about me that I don't know about me, that other way around. So positive, minus. So things that Chris knows about me that I don't know about me. So Chris went on to say, Jose, listen, if there was something about you or a couple of things about you that I know about you that you don't know about you because you're just not self-aware in these particular blind spots of you. If I were to be able to tell you some of these things, would you want me to tell you? And before you answer, know that the answers to what I'm about to give you and tell you, if you want it, are going to help you tap into the 4th pane. And the 4th pane is the negative sign and the negative sign. And that is things that you don't know about you that I don't know about you. And that, my friend, is your full potential. And when you tap into your full potential, that's when you're going to rise above the crowd. That's when you do the things that many other people only dream of. So do I have your permission to give you some insights on some things that might not be something you want to hear, but it's things that you need to hear in order for you to rise up to the next level? And my answer, of course, was yes. And now I have given him full permission to just shoot on me and brain vomit and tell me what I need to hear, whether I want to hear it or not. And then it's up to me what I do with it. Do I just tuck it away, sweep it under the rug and act like I didn't hear it? Or do I take action and improve like we all should and rise to new levels in this earth? And only when you tap into these things will you rise to your next level and your full potential. That is it. I hope this is helpful to you. Think about this for yourself. What are your blind spots, right? And ask yourself, who can I do this exercise on that can maybe help them get to their next level? And then once you have identified what those things are and they realize what those things are, if you want to take it to a whole nother level of sales, then you say, based on that need that they have, how can I fill that need with the products and services that I offer? And then it's like, let's connect the dots, if that makes sense. So that is all I have. I got to run. I hope this was of value. Thank you so much for today. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, Sifu, you're on mute.
I said you finished perfectly on time. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you follow and like. See you next time, guys. Thank you, Carl. Stay on with me, Carl. Jose, I'll talk to you soon, my friend. So here we are. We are not the last ones, because there's other people who are still watching and they appreciate what Jose just shared. I think he shared some really powerful things, what you don't know about you, but other people don't even know that about you. And that's your potential. I love that.
Yeah. Phenomenal. I was making good notes. I drew a little window. I put my things in there. But I like how he said that, my goodness, that you're well, he said that he was a professional seat warmer for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That really smacked me upside the head, because I went, wait a minute. And how many people have done that? How many people have said, if I just go to this course or this webinar, this thing, or if I do just one more training, then I'll know what I need to know to be able to do something magnanimous, as opposed to just doing it. So yeah, wow.
Action takers, my friend. Action takers. That's where everything comes in, right?
Yeah.
If you're just jumping on now, here's what you can do, Don. Here's the beautiful thing you can do and rewatch. It was an exceptional. You got to trust me on this one. You need to go and rewatch this one. This was a good one. So, Carl, thank you again for joining me, my friend. And I can't wait to have you again. You know, you and I, we're going to be collaborating a lot. I can tell. I think
2024, we're going to be knocking it out of the park, or out of several parks, probably.
There you go. Yeah. Get your bat ready. All right, my friend. Thank you so much. Everybody, make sure to have an exceptional rest of your Friday. Take care, everybody.